You know what time it is. Mid manga being saved by high level anime part 2. I'm back again. I'm back for more. I'm about to be cooking. I'm back for seconds. I'm back for
The ripping and the tearing. The ripping and the tearing.
Before we get deep into the woods on this topic, I want to teach you guys 2 new vocabulary words you can add to your library of knowledge. Objective and subjective. Objective, the act of stating something that is fact-based. There's no opinions or emotions in what you're stating. It's literally based in fact and in reality with things that can back up your statements, right? Subjective, right, is opinions with no facts. Everything you state is just straight off of feeling and emotion, right? So with that being said, yes, objectively speaking, Jujutsu Kaisen is a popular manga, right? It is successful, has millions of sales and blah, 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 blah. Subjectively though, in my opinion, it's not a very good series. I'm gonna get into that further into the video, but I just want to use that as a preface to the video because I don't want to get another barrage of stupid comments, even though I'm pretty sure I'm still gonna get some, which, chalk it up to the game or whatever, but I just want to teach you guys something, you know what I'm saying? I'll see you guys in a few. So in part 1 of this video, link in the description, I pretty much stated that popular manga series such as Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen are mainly as popular as they are not due to their quality of the story or artwork in this manga series, but simply because of how high quality the anime adaptation is for those said series. So now in this video, I'm going to give a more in-depth look on why I feel this way about Jujutsu Kaisen and why I say it is a mid-tier manga being saved by its anime adaptation. I'm also going to give examples of a manga that is really good, but its anime didn't hold up in comparison. And lastly, a manga series that's anime adaptation is equivalent in the quality. So Jujutsu Kaisen pretty much is a shonen battle manga that follows in the same footsteps as its forefathers, specifically Naruto. You have Yuji Itadori, who embodies the most powerful curse named Sukuna. While hosting this curse, he joins a team of sorcerers in order to battle these curses. In his 3-man team, he has a female character named Nobara and his brooding emo male partner Magumi. Like I said earlier, they go around fighting curses and whatever. I mean, that's pretty much the general base of the story, the general synopsis and plot, right? But here's what makes Jujutsu Kaisen lackluster to me, right? First, what is Yuji's purpose in this story? I've read every single chapter of this series. I'm pretty much up to date as of this recording, and I still feel like Yuji is just the most underdeveloped character in the whole entire series. I feel like every other character in this series has gone through some tremendous character arc outside of him. Yuji is just a copy and paste of Naruto, right? Like Yuji, prior to him eating Sukuna's fingers, we don't really know too much about him outside of the fact that he was like a hyper athletic person and that he lived with his grandfather, who ends up passing away in the first chapter of the series. And before he dies, he wants to explain something about Yuji's parents, but never gets around to doing that because he ends up passing away, right? Later on, we find out that Yuji's parents, specifically his mom, was the holder of Kenjaku, the main villain in the series, who's kind of orchestrating everything, who's also now possessing Suguru Geto, who is the main villain in the whole entire Jujutsu Kaisen series. So, we get kind of that explanation that, his mom was a bad guy and his dad was kind of like a normal guy. And that's pretty much kind of just like the Naruto thing, where Naruto's mom was the first Jinchuriki being possessed by Kirama, and then she passed on to Naruto, and then his dad was Minato. And we don't really know too much else outside of, for Yuji, we don't really know too much else. Other characters in this series have had way better character growth in the overall series so far, like Mugami and Maki in this. But like I said, it's just a lot of it mirrors a lot of Naruto. Even when I was talking about the 3-man team, Gojo kind of being resembling a Kakashi type figure and things like that. I just feel like the series doesn't really do anything different, and you can make the argument, it's just a shonen battle manga, so obviously it's going to hold its influences and run with them. But there's also shonen series that have deviated from the main tropes of battle shonen, like Attack on Titan or Chainsaw Man, which kind of deviate from the main shonen genre while still being in the genre but playing with it a lot. Another thing is power structure in Jujutsu Kaisen is really complicated and not very well thought out, I feel, and it's not very like streamlined. It doesn't really, I feel like as you read on in the series, it kind of like the author is just adding more and more to this, the power structure is and how imminent domain works. If you read the chapters with Gojo and Sukuna were fighting, we were getting a lot more information that we hadn't gotten prior to, that I feel like we should have already kind of had established in the earlier chapters. When you watch Naruto, you already have understanding certain jutsus are, what the ground level of what the power structure is in Naruto, right? Also, Jujutsu Kaisen hasn't had many like great story arcs. I think the Shibuya arc was really good because there was actually high stakes in the arc. The characters actually had something they were kind of going for, you know, trying to save Gojo and get him out of the box. There's a lot of people who died. You kind of learned a lot more. Like a lot of characters developed in that story arc. You learned a lot about Mugimi in that arc. You learned a lot about Maki. You learned a lot about Gojo in that arc. The story really developed really fast and really well in that story arc. But outside of that, I don't really have anything that can be like, I can pinpoint those a really memorable arc. This arc that we're in right now, the Culling Games, is really, it's like a poor excuse for a tournament arc. I just feel like it's not great. With all that being said, the anime for Jujutsu Kaisen is amazing. The recent fight between Sukuna and Jogo was amazing. The animation that is being done in the anime adaptation of Jujutsu Kaisen is overshining the clear story flaws in this series, and it's helping propel Jujutsu Kaisen to a whole nother level of popularity and you know, fame and glory compared to other anime that hasn't had that higher level anime. And that's where I'm going to lead into my next example. I'm going to talk about manga series, which has an amazing story and artwork, but their anime adaptation didn't bring the series trajectory up to Jujutsu Kaisen, My Hero Academia, or Demon Slayer levels. The series is Fire Force, which is one of my personal favorite manga series to come out of this new batch of shonen series. Fire Force is about Shinra, a third generation pyrokinetic youth who was gained the name the Devil's Footprint for his ability to ignite his feet at will, and was ostracized as a child for the fire that killed his mother and younger brother, show 12 years prior to when the series starts. He joins the Special Fire Force Company A, which features other pyrokinetics who dedicate themselves to ending the Inferno's attacks for good, while investigating companies 1 through 7 for potential corruption in their ranks. And it's a really, really original series, right? And it doesn't really follow a lot of the shonen battle tropes, but it is a battle shonen manga, and it's a very well structured story. It has really good character development. All the characters, you get a good grasp of who they are, what their purpose is, and what they want. The world in Fire Force is really well plotted out and built. You learn about the Great Cataclysm, you learn about what the White Clad's purpose is, the Special Fire Force's needs are. You learn about like espionage, underlying type series where, you know, they're trying to figure out who is working for the White Clad, who is in, and you know, it's a really good story. You know, like I said, it's one of my personal favorites. Cool thing about the series, it's, you know, the creator Soul Eater is the same creator as Fire Force, and the end of Fire Force, spoiler alert, it, you know, it ties in together, which I also think is really cool, which, you know, you don't really see that much in the anime and stuff like that, manga. But the anime for Fire Force, which is, I think it's on its 3rd season, maybe it's on its 4th season, hasn't really taken off in comparison to Jujutsu Kaisen and to Demon Slayer. I mean, obviously it's still a popular series. It's still probably in the top, I think it's definitely like in the top 50 or 100 on my anime list. I'll put a picture up of what it is, but you know, it has really good fight scenes, like I said, and has a good storyline. I don't know why it didn't get as popular, or, you know, as Jujutsu Kaisen or Demon Slayer. I'm not 100% sure, but that's a good example of the manga being better than the anime to an extent. And lastly, the series that holds up on both ends with its manga and anime adaptation is One Punch Man. One Punch Man is a story of Saitama, who is a hero who can defeat any opponent with one punch. He's pretty much unbeatable, and he literally defeats all of his enemies, like I said, with one punch. And him having that ability to defeat all of his enemies in one punch pretty much makes him dull and boring, emotionless, and he's kind of like bored with life because he's just like the ultimate being. But it's also just kind of like a satire type series of the shonen and superhero genre, written by great manga author One, who also did Mob Psycho 100, which is also a really great anime series 2 that just ended, and also has one of the best manga artists of all time, definitely top 5, Yusuke Murata. You know, with all that being said, the manga and anime are definitely equal in quality. At least the first season of the show, the artwork of Murata translates really well into the anime. originally the artwork wasn't like saved by the animation studio. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some manga, right, whose the artwork in the series isn't as good compared to the anime, right? Or like they'll give the character designs to the animation studio, and the animation studio will kind of like beef up the designs to make them look better for animation, but also just overall will be better designs for the series. Sometimes so much that the original mangaka will take the animation studio's designs and implement those into their manga series. That kind of happened with Dragon Ball. That's why when you see the early like chapters of Dragon Ball, and once the show started, you see how Akira Toriyama, he was more like rounded and smooth with his lines and stuff like that, and he started becoming more like squared off. Once Dragon Ball Z started going on, he kind of took the influence of the character design artists from the series into the Dragon Ball manga. But yeah, man, I mean, One Punch Man, like the animation studio, I think it was Studio Bones that worked on it. The battle scenes were amazing. The animation was seamless and smooth. Like I remember the first time I seen One Punch Man was the fight between him and the underground people. Like it was just like a clip on Twitter, and I was like, bro, what the fuck is this? And so I checked it out, and I loved the series so much so that I continued on and read the manga, and the manga is just as great. I mean, sadly, One Punch Man, the second season wasn't as good as the first season, but regardless, like the level of the anime and the manga helped each other out. You know what I'm saying? Like one wasn't really saved by the other one, and so one wasn't held down by the other medium, which is pretty rare when it comes to manga anime adaptation, especially nowadays, I feel. So pretty much all this to say, with all these examples, I can say a great anime adaptation can carry a mid-level manga, whether you like it or not. But a great manga can't carry a mid-level anime. You know what I'm saying?
Message!
As is the case for The Promised Neverland. So yes, mid-level manga is being saved by amazing anime adaptations. And I don't want you to think that I'm a hater of Jujutsu Kaisen or don't like the series, because like I've been keeping up with the chapters. I've been up to date with all the chapters. I read them every single time they drop, whether it's like bi-weekly, whatever. I'm on the Shonen Jump app every time they drop a chapter. But as I've caught up to the series, I caught up like I think like last year and have continued on reading, I just kind of caught up with the idea that the anime is just like way better and more enjoyable to read. And I'm not I'm a manga person. Like I would prefer to read a manga over anime because it's at my own pace. I can keep up with it. They do with the anime now, you have to wait. As I caught up with the series, the manga series, and I continued reading it. It was very much not a disappointment, but it wasn't as good as the anime. And I'm as the new seasons are coming out, the hype train is growing and growing for Jujutsu Kaisen. That's why so many people are upset with my opinions about the series. But yeah, man, you guys should just thank Studio Mappa for going super OD with the animation, because if the animation for Jujutsu Kaisen wasn't as great as it was, I don't know if half you motherfuckers would be watching it or reading it. But yeah, that's it, man. I appreciate you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Also click the link in the description. I'm a comic book creator. I have an ongoing series called Bam, The Last Show on Earth. The first 11 chapters are out right now. The series is on a little hiatus. I'm working on 2 one-shots right now. I'm working on a horror comic. I'm actually going to do a video on that here soon, kind of talk about the comic and what it's about and when I plan to release it and stuff like that. I'm also going to do another superhero one-shot. That's going to be probably sometime next year. Appreciate you guys for watching. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe, click the links in the bio, check out all the other videos I got, check out part 1 of this topic to kind of get the preface of what I was trying to get at, to begin with, whatever. Love you guys. Peace.